Hello there, and welcome to Sleep Science 360. I'm so glad you found your way here tonight. Maybe your day felt long, or maybe you're someone who falls asleep more easily. When the world slows into gentle thoughts and quiet mysteries. Either way, this moment is yours. A small space to soften, to breathe a little slower, to let the weight of the day drift somewhere far away. As your body grows light, as if the air itself has learned your rhythm. Because tonight, we aren't simply talking about words. We're drifting through the quiet story of language itself. The soft pulse that has traveled through human hearts for tens of thousands of years. Long before cities rose, long before pages were written, there were only breaths, and the shapes those breaths slowly became. Somewhere in the distance of time, a single sound changed a life, then a family, then an entire world, and now, here you are, lying in the calm of your own evening, listening to the long, slow memory of human speech as it unfolds like a warm, ancient river beside you. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Tonight, you have nothing to do, nothing to solve. Just let yourself rest as we drift into the most relaxing story about language. A story older than any map, and gentle enough to carry you towards sleep. You settle into the quiet of your own evening, and the world becomes soft around the edges. There's nothing you have to chase now, nothing reaching for your attention, only the gentle stillness that arrives. When the day finally loosens its hands, your breath eases, your shoulders soften, and in this calm, you begin to drift towards something older than memory itself. You can rest now. The night moves slowly here. It opens like a wide, dark valley, and you move through it without effort. Somewhere inside that valley, a single thought glows quietly. Language didn't begin with words. It began with breath, a simple truth, soft as warm air on a cool night. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Long before stories were spoken, long before symbols were carved on clay, or ink touched the first sheet of woven fiber, there were people gathering around small circles of light. Imagine them now, thousands of generations before you, sitting close to the heat of a slow-burning fire. Their shadows rise and fall across the stone behind them, like waves of dusk. And in the spaces between those shadows, the earliest sounds of humanity drift out, not sharp, not defined, but shaped by feeling, by instinct, by the simple ache of needing to be understood. You can rest now. A soft crack of wood, the hush of wind through tall grass, the rhythmic breathing of someone nearby. The world back then was an acoustic landscape, and humans were learning their place inside it. They didn't speak yet, not the way you know speech today, but they created sound with intention. A call, a warning, a gentle murmur to soothe a child in the dark. These early sounds floated through the air, like the first threads of a vast tapestry that would one day cover the entire planet. Somewhere, light continues to travel. For tens of thousands of years, our ancestors lived in a world shaped entirely by the senses: touch, sight, sound, Breath carried meaning long before words did. A rising tone might signal curiosity. A lower one might signal calm. These tiny cues, barely more than vibrations in the night, were the foundation of something that would eventually become human language. It's okay to drift. And in this moment, you're connected to them through something simple and real. Your breathing, the steady rhythm beneath everything else. The same rhythm they once followed to feel safe beside the glow of their fires. The same rhythm that shaped the earliest murmurs of connection and care. The night softens around you. Imagine a small spark rising from the fire, lifting on a breeze, spinning once, then fading into the sky. That spark is like the first human sound, bright for a moment, fragile, yet powerful enough to change the course of every life around it. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Those early people didn't know. They were building the future. They didn't know that every soft call, every gentle hum, every soothing tone offered in the dark was the beginning of an intricate system that would one day carry poetry and stories and names and dreams. They only knew that these sounds made the night feel less vast, less empty. You can rest now. Across thousands of years, these sounds repeated themselves like patterns in the tides, slow, consistent, patient. This is one of the quiet facts of relaxing science. Humans learn to speak not through sudden change, but through the same slow forces that shape mountains and carve rivers. Time itself became the teacher, softening edges, guiding breath, allowing meaning to form grain by grain. The night settles around you. Some evenings, when storms gathered at the horizon, our ancestors would huddle together in caves or beneath broad branches of ancient trees. The darkness outside felt larger then, heavier, as if it carried the weight of the unknown. But someone, perhaps a parent, perhaps a friend, would breathe out a sound, low and steady, a reassurance shaped only by emotion. It was not a word, but it was enough. It's okay to drift. These moments of comfort were some of the earliest seeds of language, not in letters or symbols, but in the way air moved from one person to another, carrying calm, connection, and safety. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Picture this: two people walking along a forest path. As the sun dips below the horizon, one steps carefully over a fallen branch, turns, and offers a soft sound, a gentle warning, barely more than a hum. The other hears it, adjusts, and continues on. A shared moment, a shared understanding. This tiny pattern repeats itself across countless generations, and slowly, almost imperceptibly, a language begins to form. You can rest now. In those early ages, the world was illuminated, not by electric lights, but by the moon, the stars, the rhythmic glow of embers. The great arc of the sky held its own kind of language, constellations shifting across the seasons, marking time with quiet precision. Humans watched them, listen to them, and learn to shape their own signals with similar softness. Somewhere, light continues to travel. There's a calm truth here. Before language became a tool for thought, it was a tool for belonging, a way of saying, "I'm here," a way of reassuring another heartbeat in the vastness of the sleeping world. And even now, as you lie here listening, that same instinct moves through you. It's okay to drift. Your breath fills the space around you with the same gentle rhythm that shaped the first human communities. Every slow inhale is a thread connecting you to them. Every exhale is a reminder that you're part of a story far older than memory. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. On nights like this, when the air cools and the world quiets, it's easy to imagine the very beginning, the first spark of voice, the first ripple of sound, moving through a small circle of people who had no way of knowing they were crafting the foundation of what would one day carry love, laughter, songs, promises, and all the soft conversations that fill the quiet hours before sleep. You can rest now. Those first sounds were shaped by necessity, but held together by care. A mother soothing her child, a friend calling through the dusk, a partner humming to calm a trembling hand. After a long day of searching for food, these early moments brought people closer, wove them into a single fabric, and created the earliest form of communication. Language made of breath and comfort. The night softens around you, and as the centuries drifted forward, hundreds, then thousands, then tens of thousands, those soft sounds began to settle into patterns, not words yet, not structure, just repeating tones that slowly became familiar, stable, predictable, safe. It's okay to drift. This is one of the gentle truths of sleep science. The brain finds peace in patterns, especially slow ones, especially ancient ones. And human language grew from those same patterns. Your mind is tuned to them in ways you don't have to think about. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. In this part of the night, when everything else begins to fade, you can feel how old this story is, how deeply woven it is into your own quiet. The birth of language is not a moment. It's a landscape, a wide plain stretching into darkness, lit only by memory and the promise of understanding. You can rest now, somewhere far away, in a past too distant to measure. A child laughed, and that sound became the seed of connection, a soft trill, a bright note in the cool air. That laughter echoed through the generations, reminding every human heart that sound could be shared, held, and understood. Somewhere, light continues to travel. The first human sounds were not grand, not shaped by rules, not carved into stone. They were small, humble, soft, the kind of sounds that slip easily into the night and return carrying comfort. It's okay to drift. Now, as you breathe in this quiet space, you can sense the same softness settling within you, a calm that stretches back through thousands of lifetimes to the very beginning of voice, a calm that belongs to you. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Slowly, the night gathers around you like a warm blanket, and the earliest echoes of human sound settle into your thoughts with the gentleness of falling leaves. This is where the story begins, with breath, with quiet, and with the simple act of reaching out across the dark. You can rest now, and as you breathe, you drift from this ancient circle of fire into the next chapter of the journey, the slow birth of meaning, where sound begins to take shape and carry the first threads of what would one day become language. The night softens around you. We drift gently from the first human sounds into a quieter, deeper place, where the earliest traces of meaning begin to form. The night moves with us, slow as a tide coming in, warm as an ember holding its glow through the long dark. Our breath settles into a shared rhythm now, soft and steady, as if the quiet itself is breathing with us. It's okay to drift. For a long time in human history, sounds existed without structure. They rose and faded like sparks, brief and bright, carrying only emotion. But over thousands of seasons, something began to change. People noticed patterns, the way a certain sound could calm a child, or how another could call someone back to safety. Tiny seeds of meaning, carried on nothing more than warm breath. The night softens around us. Imagine a small group of travelers walking along the edge of an open plain. The grass moves in slow waves. The wind hums against their hands. And one of them, seeing a cluster of wild berries glowing in the last light, utters a familiar sound, a soft, rising note. That means sweetness, or maybe simply come closer. Another hears it, smiles, and approaches. A thread of meaning is woven. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. These early patterns were fragile at first, thin as morning mist, but they were repeated again and again, through days of gathering food, through nights of sheltering from storms, through the soft moments of caring for one another when the world felt too large. Repetition gave these sounds weight. Memory gave them shape. And slowly, meaning began to settle into them, like river silt finding the bottom of a quiet pool. It's okay to drift. We can picture them, our distant ancestors, gathering near a water's edge, offering simple sounds for what they saw. A low tone for the river, a soft puff of breath for the fruit they picked, a gentle hum for fire, warm and constant. Each sound tied to a sensation, a need, a feeling. The earliest vocabulary was not made of words, but of shared experience. You can rest now. In the glow of a small fire, a child might reach toward the flames and hear a warning sound, one they had heard many times before. Not a word, not a sentence, just a soft, descending tone that carried all the meaning they needed. Careful. The child pauses. leans back, and the moment becomes part of their memory. Another thread, another shape, another seed of meaning woven gently into the night. The quiet between stars remembers. Our ancient world was simple in its language, but rich in sensation. The crunch of snow beneath feet, the low rumble of distant thunder, the rhythmic splash of hands gathering water, all of it formed a backdrop to the slow evolution of understanding. Humans didn't choose to create meaning. Meaning emerged on its own, like light gathering in the sky before dawn. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. There's a gentle fact here, a small truth carried lightly by relaxing science. The human brain is built to search for patterns, and when it hears familiar sounds, it naturally shapes them into meaning. This ability grew slowly, over tens of thousands of years, as our ancestors learned to trust that certain sounds brought safety, while others brought connection. It's okay to drift. We can imagine two people walking along a stony path. As dusk settles over the land, one finds a bright leaf on the ground and utters a soft, playful sound. The other responds with a similar tone, mirrored with warmth. The exchange has no grammar, no structure, but the meaning is clear. Shared curiosity, a moment of noticing together. Language begins this way, in small, shimmering gestures of connection. The night softens around us. As centuries pass, these sounds gather layers. A rising tone means approach. A falling tone means stay. A gentle pulse of air means warmth, or food, or comfort. Meaning expands like a slow-growing tree, its roots deepening with each repeated moment of understanding. You can rest now. Somewhere across the long stretch of time, our ancestors begin to associate specific sounds with more than just the things they see. A sound for the sky, another for the ground, another for the presence of someone dear. The earliest forms of naming emerge, not as definitions, but as emotional anchors. In a world that often felt wide and unpredictable, you breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Imagine the moment when a sound was first used, not just to describe the world, but to describe a feeling, a soft, trembling hum for fear, a bright tone for joy, a steady low note for calm. These sounds, passed gently from breath to breath, helped people recognize themselves in one another. The earliest emotional language, shared without rules, but rich with meaning. It's okay to drift. As night deepens around us, we can sense the slow, patient evolution of these sounds. They begin to cluster, not rigid, not fixed, but loosely gathered into families of feeling. One cluster for things that nourish, another for things that protect, another for things that soothe. Meaning grows more complex, but its roots remain simple. Connection, safety, understanding. You can rest now. Far across the plains, as early humans migrate from one season to the next, their shared sounds travel with them. A small group breaks away, carrying their version of a call for water, Another group drifts across the mountains, their sounds reshaping in the thinner air. Over time, these variations bloom into different branches of early communication, each shaped by landscape, climate, and the needs of those who wander. Somewhere, light continues to travel. There is a soft wonder in imagining how slowly these changes occurred. A single sound might shift only slightly. In 500 years, another might disappear entirely. After 1,000, meaning, like erosion, worked with the patience of stone, we drift with it now, feeling how natural it was, how gentle for language to grow this way. It's okay to drift. We can picture a river that has flowed for tens of thousands of years. Its shape changes gradually. A new bend here, a softer bank there, the slow widening as centuries pass. Language grew the same way, through small shifts, tiny adjustments, each one carried by generations, who often never noticed the change at all. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Meaning began to deepen, not just through sound, but through gesture. A hand pointing toward the horizon, a tilt of the head signaling confusion, a slow, open palm offering comfort. Sound and movement intertwined until they became inseparable, each clarifying the other, each reinforcing the knowledge that humans were not meant to move through the world alone. You can rest now, in the quiet of ancient nights, after the fire dimmed and the wind settled. People may have sat, watching the shapes of shadows dance gently on the walls around them. In those still moments, they would use simple sounds to recall the day, the place they found food, the path they walked, the warmth shared by someone they loved. Meaning was memory, and memory was survival. The night softens around us, and through this slow, tender process, the earliest foundations of language begin to take shape. Not the structured systems we know today, but something beautifully raw. A network of sounds woven from emotion, sensation, and connection. A foundation built not in the mind alone, but in the body, in the lungs, the throat, the lips, the heart. It's okay to drift. We feel the same pattern even now. A soft voice calms us. A gentle sound reassures us. A familiar tone makes us feel at home. These instincts are ancient, older than history itself, carried across millennia in the quiet pathways of the human brain. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you, meaning deepened because humans needed it to share safety, to share discovery, to share tenderness. In a world filled with mystery, even now, lying here in the quiet of your night, you are connected to that long journey, a journey that began not with words, but with the soft, shimmering breath of someone reaching out. In the darkness of an ancient world, you can rest now. And as we drift deeper into this story, we move toward the moment when these gentle sounds begin to cluster into families, the earliest roots of language groups that would one day span continents. and carry the voices of billions. The night opens ahead of us, slow and welcoming. As this quiet evolution continues, it drifts into view slowly, as if rising from a long horizon of time. The moment when the earliest human sounds begin to branch into families. Not families of blood, but families of breath, families of tone, shape, and memory. In the quiet of the world's early mornings, language settles into patterns that will ripple across tens of thousands of years. It's okay to drift. There is no sudden beginning, no boundary, no line drawn in sand, just the slow turning of human movement. Small groups wandering toward rivers, others drifting along the edges of forests, others settling in wide valleys where wind softened every sound that passed through. And as people moved, their sounds moved with them, softened here, lengthened there, shifted like the flow of distant water, shaping different banks. The night settles low and warm. Across vast plains, small groups would gather beneath open skies. Their fires flickered gently against the curve of the earth, each flame lighting faces that carried a unique echo of the same ancestral voice. These echoes, these shared threads, slowly bent and stretched into the earliest branches of linguistic families. Sounds passed from parent to child, from friend to friend, from wanderer to wanderer. And with each step, each season, each lifetime, those sounds shifted, like leaves changing color, in cycles too slow for any one person to notice. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Over thousands of years, clusters of sound took shape across continents. One cluster, rooted in warm savannas and sprawling grasslands, carried tones rich and varied, shaped by the wide open spaces of early Africa. Another, growing along ancient river valleys, held softer consonants, as if designed to blend seamlessly with the rustle of reeds and shallow water. Elsewhere, along windswept plateaus, the earliest ancestors of Himalayan speech began to settle into steady rhythms, sounds shaped by breath that needed to travel through thinner air. It's okay to drift. Every region sculpted its own language. Stone-shaped sound, wind-shaped sound, snow-shaped sound. In the far north, words became short and crisp, carried swiftly across cold air that froze breath into visible clouds. In deep forests, sounds grew round and resonant, designed to travel through thick trunks and layers of leaves. Across oceans, island languages developed notes that rose and fell like waves, carrying the music of tides in each syllable. The night softens around it. These early language families were not yet recognizable as the ones we know today. They were soft beginnings, roots beneath the soil of what would one day become thousands of languages across the world. The Afro-Asiatic family had its early seeds in warm earth, where the Sahara once bloomed green. Indo-European rested in ancient grasslands, where wild horses ran free. Sino-Tibetan grew in river valleys, that shimmered under long sunrises. Niger-Congo flowed like a vast river, carrying countless tonal variations through dense canopies of life. You can rest now, but names do not matter here. Not labels, not divisions. What matters is the slow, patient truth. Sound wants to wander, and as it wanders, it becomes new. Just as rivers fork and merge, languages forked and merged, sometimes diverging for thousands of years, sometimes joining again. When distant groups reunited under the same open sky, somewhere, light continues to travel. Picture a small clearing where two groups meet after long journeys. Their sounds are different now, shaped by distance, by landscape, by time. One group speaks, with tones softened by mountain wind. The other carries sounds sharpened by years of desert travel. Their voices overlap in curiosity, and for a moment, two branches of language brush against each other, like branches of neighboring trees. It's okay to drift. Some of these early families spread slowly. Others remained small, held close within valleys and sheltered forests. Some were lost, not through conflict or noise, but simply through silence. When a group moved away or merged with another, their sounds blended into the larger tapestry of human voice. Nothing vanished with violence. Everything simply softened into new forms. The night grows deeper around it. There is a calm fact here, carried gently by relaxing science. The further apart groups lived, the more their languages drifted, like two stars slowly moving away from each other across thousands of nights. This drift happened so gradually that entire generations lived and died without noticing they were speaking a slightly different language than their great-grandparents. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Early families of language were shaped as much by silence as by sound. The long quiet between migrations, the stillness of winter, when people spoke in low tones to conserve energy, the hush of night, when only fire crackled and breath filled the air, with slow trails of white. In that quiet, sounds settled deeper into the minds of those who shared them until they became the foundations of identity. You can rest now. As centuries drifted by, these families expanded like constellations, dots of sound connected by invisible lines of memory. Small communities, each carrying their own star-shaped clusters of sounds and meanings. Over time, these clusters grew into vast patterns, the early maps of human speech. Somewhere in this wide, ancient expanse, the seeds of every modern language began their quiet journey. It's okay to drift. Imagine a mountain valley where people gather near glacial streams. Their speech carries a steady rhythm, shaped by the slow pulse of water melting above. Now, imagine a distant coastline where voices rise and fall in harmony with the sea. These two groups may never meet, yet their languages grow from the same ancient soil of sound. branching into different families, like trees leaning in different directions toward the same light. The night softens around it, across deserts, across islands, across open plains that stretch farther than memory. These families continued to grow. Each new generation added small shifts, a softened consonant, a longer vowel, a change in rhythm, until languages that once sounded alike became gently distinct. Often, these changes carried a single emotional purpose: to make the world feel smaller, closer, safer. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. In the long quiet of ancient nights, children listen to the sounds their parents made, not words yet, but tones and patterns that shaped the earliest forms of identity. A rising sound meant welcome. A warm hum meant comfort. A short, quick pulse meant attention. These small emotional maps became the heartbeats of early language families. You can rest now. The universe has always favored variation. Stars shift in brightness. Rivers change their course. Trees develop unique rings each year that reveal the stories of past seasons. Language families grew in this same natural way, slowly, beautifully, never rushed, never forced. Somewhere, light continues to travel. As millennia passed, these families expanded across continents. The rhythms of Africa carried upward into new tonal systems. The vast sweep of Eurasia filled with branches that would one day give rise to hundreds of languages spoken by billions. The islands of the Pacific became living tapestries of melodic variation, each syllable shaped by wind and wave. It's okay to drift. Still, beneath all this change, there remained one constant. Language grew from connection, not from rules, not from structure, but from the soft need to be understood. A need older than migration, older than shelter, older than memory. It carried humanity forward, across seasons, lands, and ages, without ever losing its quiet soul. The night deepens gently, even now, as this history drifts through the quiet of your evening. You can feel how vast and soft this journey is, how these early families of language were not systems, but living rivers, branching, merging, flowing, carrying voices across time. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. And as this river carries us forward, we drift toward the next chapter, the long journey of words as they travel across the earth, changing shape, changing sound, but never losing the warmth of the breath that carries them. The night opens gently ahead. It begins as a quiet movement, a gentle drift, the kind of shift that happens not in a day or a year, but across lifetimes, woven together like slow-growing rings in ancient wood. Words begin to travel. They lift from one landscape and carry themselves into another, changing shape just enough to fit the air, the wind, the voices of those who breathe them. It's okay to drift. In the earliest stages of human wandering, groups moved across vast spaces, following herds, following seasons, following the soft instinct that told them where warmth or water might be. As they walked, their sounds walked with them. A simple tone for water, a gentle call for home, a rising hum for fire. Each sound took root wherever the people settled, but no sound stayed perfectly the same. The night folds softly around this truth. Across warm plains, a word might lengthen, drawn out by open horizons. Across cold valleys, it might shorten, compressed by breath that needed to stay warm. Across dense forests, the word might become rounder, echoing between trunks, so it could be heard clearly. In the stillness beneath leaves, words responded to the world. They shaped themselves to survive in each new place. It breathes with them. Imagine a group traveling toward a distant river. They had a sound, low, smooth, like air sliding over stone, that meant the clear water they relied on. But when they reached a new region, a place where the river carved deeper channels, and the sound of rushing water filled the valley, their words shifted. It took on a sharper edge, a quicker pulse, as if imitating the river itself. The meaning stayed the same, but the form changed to fit the world around it. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. This is one of the gentle truths carried in relaxing science. Sound adapts, not by rule, not by force, but by the quiet pressure of climate, landscape, and the rhythms of daily life. Over centuries, words carried their core meanings through countless environments, each time picking up a faint new color from the people who used them. It's okay to drift. Picture an ancient coastline, bathed in pale morning light. Waves roll in with a soft, even pulse. People living there shape their words to match that rhythm, syllables rising and falling like the tide. Now picture a desert where wind travels long distances in slow, sweeping breaths. Words there stretch gently, holding more air, carrying warmth through cool nights. Both languages grow from the same roots, yet they bloom differently. In the climate that surrounds them, the night softens around it. Somewhere in the world's early journeys, two distant groups might share a word that once meant sunlight, but after 1,000 years, one version becomes soft and rounded, the other bright and crisp. Two petals from the same flower, drifting apart in the winds of time. Still, beneath the surface, a shared memory remains. You can rest now. Words travel not only through migration, but through contact. When two groups meet, after long seasons of wandering, they trade more than food, or tools, or warm shelter. They trade sounds, a borrowed tone, a new pattern, a name for a fruit, a river, a creature. These traded sounds become small bridges, connecting languages, that may never share a common grammar, but will always share a moment of human closeness. Somewhere, light continues to travel. Imagine a small clearing where two families of wanderers meet. They watch each other carefully at first. Their language is different, their rhythms unfamiliar. But then someone offers a gesture, a seed, a leaf, a piece of woven fiber, and speaks a sound that carries invitation. The other group responds with their version of the same idea. Two different shapes, two different histories, but one shared meaning. The air between them warms with recognition. It's okay to drift. Over time, these exchanges became common. A word for mountain might drift from one group to another and another, shifting gently in each new voice. A word for star might travel hundreds of miles through traders, healers, travelers who carried stories in soft bundles of breath. These traveling words often survived for thousands of years, holding echoes of their origin, long after the people who first spoke them had faded into the quiet past. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Some words move like rivers, slow, steady, reliable. Others move like wind, changing with each generation, never fully settling. Still others move like migrating birds, returning again and again to the same core meaning, even as their sound shifts slightly. With each new season of human life, the night deepens gently. There is a calm fact here, one carried softly by sleep science. The human brain remembers shape more easily than detail. And because of this, words often keep their general shape, even as their smaller pieces drift and adapt. A rounded vowel stays rounded for centuries. A sharp consonant stays sharp until a new environment smooths it into something softer. It's okay to drift. Picture a valley where people carve new paths each year. Their word for path grows longer as they describe the winding curves they follow. Far away, on a vast plateau, another group travels in straight lines. Their word for path remains short, simple, efficient. Both words carry the same meaning, yet their shapes reveal the landscapes that shape them. You can rest now, across islands where boats drift gently, between shimmering shores. Languages develop musical inflections, sound rising like birds, falling like waves. Across mountains, where breath is precious, speech becomes measured, economical, carried in short pulses. Across grasslands, where wind never truly stops, words become firm to stand steady. Against the constant breath of the earth, you breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Sometimes a single word can travel farther than the people who created it. A name for a tree might appear in languages separated by oceans and deserts, its sound gently altered, but still bearing the shadow of its ancient form. Tracing such words is like following faint footprints across the sands of 30,000 years. The prints blur, but the direction remains. It's okay to drift. Over long spans of time, entire networks of meaning spread across continents. Words for family, for seasons, for the body, for the earth. These words rarely disappear. They travel steadily, from mouth to mouth, generation to generation. Some become anchors, some become seeds. All of them become part of the quiet architecture of human life. The night softens around it. Even now, when a word crosses a border, it carries something of its old world with it, a memory of warm winds, or cold mountains, or long rivers, woven into the way it sounds. Language becomes a map, drawn softly through time. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. In the quiet of this moment, you can sense how gentle and inevitable this movement has always been. Words travel because people travel. People travel because life moves forward, season by season, guided by light, by water, by shelter, by hope. The movement is ancient, yet still ongoing. It's okay to drift. And so, the story of language flows like a slow, luminous river into the next chapter, where the structure of speech itself begins to take shape, where patterns emerge, rhythms stabilize, and human breath gains the first quiet hints of grammar. The night drifts with it, steady and warm. As the journey continues, it settles into the quiet like a feather drifting to earth. The moment when language begins to find shape. Not rules, not grammar, not anything rigid or sharp, but the earliest hints of gentle structure, rising from breath and rhythm. Speech begins to organize itself, the way clouds form patterns in the sky, slowly, softly, with no need for precision. It's okay to drift. Human breath becomes the guiding force. Every sound ever spoken rides on this simple, ancient movement, air flowing out in a steady stream, warm against cool night, soft against the body's quiet machinery. This breath shapes everything. The rounded hum, the quick pulse, the long vowel that seems to glow in the air before fading. It forms a kind of architecture, one built from nothing more than the gentle push of life itself. The night leans close to listen. Across early landscapes, people discovered that certain patterns of breath felt easier to produce than others. A rising sound might come naturally. After a deep inhale, a short consonant might appear when cold wind pressed against the lips. A long, warm vowel might drift out when the body relaxed near firelight. These tiny influences, barely noticeable, barely remembered, became the first foundations of how speech was shaped. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Picture an ancient evening where a small community sits together near a river glowing under moonlight. Conversations are not yet conversations. only threads of sound, woven with gesture and breath. A child experiments with a rising tone. An elder answers with a steady hum. A hunter returns with a short, clipped sound that echoes the tension of the day. Each person adds a grain to the structure. Bit by bit, it becomes familiar, then comforting, then shared. You can rest now. Speech begins to display its earliest patterns. Some sounds always appear together, sitting beside each other, like stars in the same constellation. Others keep to opposite ends of breath, one opening, one closing. Slowly, human sound arranges itself into rhythms that repeat with gentle predictability. No one names these rhythms, but everyone feels them. It's okay to drift. A simple truth glows gently within relaxing science. The brain loves patterns, especially soft ones. When sounds repeat in ways the mind can anticipate, calm settles. This calm helped our ancestors survive. It also helped language form. Sounds that soothed the community were repeated more often. Sounds that felt chaotic faded gently into silence. And so, what survived were structures shaped not by rules, but by comfort. The night softens around it. Imagine a cluster of early sounds, rounded, smooth, like polished river stones. These shapes become the vowels. They carry emotion, warmth, openness. A long vowel can stretch across a valley, carrying calm with it. A shorter one can signal quick attention when something moves in the grass. Vowels form the core of breath, the heart of every utterance. They drift easily. Through open air, you breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Now imagine a different set of sounds. Tiny, sharp pulses, created when breath meets the lips, teeth, or tongue. These become the consonants. They hold shape, they give edges to the soft flow of vowels. Together, they create contrast, the quiet balance between openness and closure, between the warm river and the stones beneath its surface. You can rest now. As people wandered farther across the earth, the structure of their speech grew more intricate. Open landscapes favored open sounds. Mountain regions crafted compact forms to save breath. Forests shaped resonance that could travel with clarity between dense trunks. Deserts sculpted syllables that lingered like heat rising from sand. Every environment touched the architecture of speech with its own soft hand. Somewhere, light continues to travel. The earliest patterns of speech were felt through touch, as much as heard. Feel the lips rounding to create warmth. Feel the tongue lifting to create brightness. Feel the throat relaxing to produce a low hum that vibrates gently in the chest. These sensations guided early speakers through every sound. Speech was a physical art, a quiet choreography that required nothing but breath and awareness. It's okay to drift. In ancient nights, when wind moved through the grass, and stars shimmered above fires. People might play with sound, the way children play now. A repeated pattern at dusk, a silly noise that becomes tradition, a shared tone that signals belonging. Repeating these sounds brought structure, not strict, not rigid, but soft and rhythmic, like waves forming natural patterns. Along the shore, the night deepens gently when a group settled in a valley. For many generations, their speech formed a stable rhythm. Each family added small variations, but the pattern remained, a steady, familiar pulse. When another group wandered through, their rhythm merged. For a brief moment, a shared melody between strangers. Some patterns blended, some remained separate. All contributed to the slow evolution of speech structure. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. There is a gentle fact glowing softly behind this history. The human vocal system has natural preferences. Sounds that require too much air fade over centuries. Sounds that strain the throat grow rarer, especially in colder climates. Sounds that feel good in the body, vowels that open like warm light, consonants that tap softly become stable. Speech structures itself around comfort. You can rest now. Over generations, certain combinations emerge again and again. A soft vowel followed by a gentle consonant becomes a reliable pattern. A bright consonant followed by a long vowel becomes another. These patterns make speech easier to remember, easier to share, easier to pass down, from parent to child, across thousands of nights. Somewhere, light continues to travel. In some early communities, speech grew tonal, its meaning carried by the rise and fall of voice. In others, rhythm became more important, a steady beat shaping each phrase. Elsewhere, consonants clustered like beads on a thread, holding meaning in compact forms. None of this was planned. Speech evolved the same way. Shadows shift at dusk, slowly, naturally, without intention. It's okay to drift. Imagine a hillside village where people gather each morning to greet the rising sun. Their speech opens with soft vowels, long, warm, designed to carry across open fields. Now picture a dense coastal town where wind pushes against every word. Speech there is tight, precise, shaped to withstand the breeze. Both kinds of structure are gentle responses to the world that holds them. The night softens around it. As thousands of years pass, the structure of speech grows layered. Certain sounds always appear at the beginning of words. Others settle comfortably at the end. Some prefer the middle, held safe between breath and closure. Children learn these patterns effortlessly, their small minds absorbing rhythm long before meaning. This silent inheritance keeps structure alive long after its origins fade into deep time. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Even now, modern languages carry traces of their early structure. Soft openings, steady middles, gentle endings. You can hear echoes of ancient breath in every lullaby, every whisper, every quiet conversation beneath dim light. Speech remembers its origins in the body. It remembers the comfort that shaped its form. You can rest now. Speech is a kind of architecture built from air, invisible but sturdy, ephemeral but lasting. Every sound rests on a foundation laid by countless generations who shaped their voices to fit the world around them. Somewhere, light continues to travel. The structure of speech was never meant to restrict. Its purpose was to ease communication, to make sounds gentle and understandable in the flow of daily life. Even today, when we speak softly, we return to the earliest architecture: rounded breaths, open vowels, quiet consonants that carry calm through the air. It's okay to drift. As the night settles deeper, the journey of language moves toward a new chapter, a chapter where speech begins to do more than describe the world. It begins to remember, to store, to hold history. In the soft patterns of human sound, we drift toward that dawn now, where language becomes a vessel of memory, carried gently through time. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. It moves through the centuries, the way a quiet river moves through night, slow, unhurried, carrying fragments of memory in every shimmering ripple. Language begins not only to describe the world, but to remember it. It becomes a vessel of time, holding echoes of lives long gone, softly preserving moments that would otherwise fade into dust. It's okay to drift. Every sound ever spoken leaves a faint trace, a small imprint, a gentle shadow in the long corridor of history. Some of these traces disappear quickly, washed away by new voices, new rhythms, new pathways. But others hold on, surviving storms, migrations, the rising and falling of countless generations. The night folds itself around these quiet survivors. A calm truth from relaxing science shimmers here. Language changes, but slowly, so slowly, that an entire century may pass before a single common word softens or shifts its shape. This slowness is a kind of memory, a quiet refusal to let go of the past too quickly. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Imagine a word spoken 5,000 years ago. It may not have sounded exactly as it does today, but its core, its warm center, remains. A word for mother, a word for water, a word for sun. These ancient anchors drift through time, like glowing embers carried in cupped hands, kept alive across millennia by voices repeating them in every season, every home, every lullaby. You can rest now. Some words have traveled so far that their origins lie beyond any written memory. They existed before clay tablets, before carved stone, before ink and paper. They lived in breath, passed from one generation to the next, each person adding their tone, their accent, their shape, yet somehow preserving the quiet essence of the original sound. The night shifts, warm and slow. In distant valleys, ancient communities once gathered. As twilight settled, they spoke of the day, of weather, of paths taken, of the warmth of fire waiting at home. Some of the words they used still echo in modern languages today, carrying across 4,000 or 5,000 years, as gently as pollen, drifting on a spring breeze. It's okay to drift. Language remembers time. Through repetition, a word spoken twice is a moment. A word spoken thousands of times becomes a memory. A word spoken for 1,000 years becomes history. And a word spoken for 10,000 years becomes something deeper, a human constant, a quiet thread linking one age to the next. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Even the smallest sounds carry age. Consider a soft vowel, open, warm, lingering in the air. Its shape in the mouth has changed little over tens of thousands of years. A gentle hum vibrates the same way in the chest of a modern speaker as it did in the chest of a Paleolithic traveler watching a red sunrise over ancient hills. You can rest now. Language also remembers the landscape of the past. A word shaped by forest may carry echoes of wood, leaf, and shadow. A word born in desert wind may hold the dry hush of shifting sand. A word forged near rivers may flow with long vowels, smooth and unbroken, like water moving over stone. Year after year, for tens of thousands of seasons, the night softens around it. Across continents, across oceans, across deep stretches of time, where the stars themselves shift subtly in the sky. Language holds these faint memories. It does not preserve them perfectly. Nothing in nature does, but it carries enough for the future to feel the warmth of its origins. Somewhere, light continues to travel. In the long arc of history, sounds evolve with a slow grace. A consonant softens, a vowel lengthens, the rhythm of speech tilts slightly one way, then the other. Yet almost never does a word lose its entire shape. Even when it changes gently, holding on to a trace of its past. The way old trees hold faint rings of early droughts deep inside their trunks. It's okay to drift. This gentle drift is what allows linguists today to trace some words all the way back 6,000 or 7,000 years, not through rigid rules, but through echoes, small similarities that shimmer across time, like reflections on the surface of a quiet lake. These echoes reveal that language is not merely a tool, but a long, patient memory. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. On forgotten paths, ancient travelers shared stories, using words that became the ancestors of modern terms. A hunter describing an animal, a mother calling across a field, a friend pointing to the horizon. These moments, simple, ordinary, became the building blocks of linguistic time. We feel them even now in the everyday language that shapes our lives. You can rest now. Language remembers not only meaning, but emotion. A soothing tone used thousands of years ago in a cradle song may still rest in the lullabies sung today. The shape of comfort is old. The breath of reassurance is timeless. A gentle pattern of sound becomes a cultural heartbeat carried through centuries. Somewhere, light continues to travel. It remembers silence too. The pauses, the hesitations, the moments between thoughts, when breath gathers and the world waits. These spaces also survive through time, influencing rhythm, pace, and the natural music of human speech. It's okay to drift. Think of a word like night. In many languages, it begins with a soft sound or a silent breath, as if inviting quiet into its form. This pattern is ancient, shaped by generations who lived closer to darkness and needed a gentle way to move through it. Language remembers this need and carries the softness forward. The night deepens around it. Or consider a word like heart. In countless tongues, its sound is warm, rounded, anchored by breath. This shape reflects the emotional weight the heart has always held as a symbol, as a feeling, as a quiet center of human experience. Language remembers the heart because humans do. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Even words for simple things, stone, fire, rain, hold echoes, stretching across thousands of years. Not exact replicas, but softened descendants of ancient sounds once spoken under star-filled skies. To speak them today is to breathe in harmony with the long past. You can rest now. There is also memory in the way languages diverge. When two groups, once connected, take different paths, their speech slowly branches apart. Yet centuries later, a faint resemblance will still shimmer. Beneath the differences, a shared syllable, a similar rhythm, a familiar warmth. Language remembers connection. Even when connection is lost, it's okay to drift across the world. Even unrelated languages sometimes echo each other. Climate, rhythm, human anatomy, breath. These shared forces shape similar solutions to similar needs. And so, language holds memory, not only of specific ancestors, but of the shared human experience. Beneath all voices, the night softens around it. As centuries unfold, writing emerges, symbols pressed into clay. 5,000 years ago, these marks capture the first solid memories, preserving moments that would otherwise dissolve back into the flow of breath. But even before writing, language itself was a living archive, an oral tapestry carried by countless voices across the long span of human existence. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Modern speech still carries these ancient threads. When you speak, your words hold echoes of distant ancestors you will never know. Their joys, their fears, their discoveries, woven subtly into the shape of each sound. You can rest now. And so, language remembers time. Not perfectly, not rigidly, but gently, the way a river remembers every stone it has ever touched, even as it continues to flow. Somewhere, light continues to travel. From here, the journey moves toward another realm, one where language is no longer only memory, but music, where rhythm, pitch, and resonance shape the voice into something that sings, even in ordinary speech. The night carries us there, soft and unhurried. As the story deepens, it begins quietly, not as a melody, not as a song, but as a soft vibration moving through the body. Speech, long before it carried meaning, carried music, not the kind written on paper, not the kind played on instruments, but a natural rhythm that rose from breath and settled into the world. Like waves in slow motion, it's okay to drift. Every language on earth has a pulse, a cadence, a gentle tide beneath the words. Some languages rise and fall, like lanterns drifting upward, their tones shimmering with delicate balance. Others move in steady lines, calm and grounded, like footsteps on soft earth. Still others flow, with rolling patterns, a gradual swell, a quiet release, a rhythm older than memory. The night leans into the sound. We feel this rhythm long before we understand it. Even a newborn, just hours old, responds to the tone and melody of a caregiver's voice. Before meaning, there is music. Before structure, there is rhythm. This ancient musicality is woven into the earliest layers of the human mind. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Picture an ancient clearing beneath a sky full of early stars. A group has gathered. After a long day, they sit close, listening to the hush of night. Someone speaks, not loudly, not sharply, but with a soft rhythm that matches the crackle of fire. The voice rises gently, like smoke, then falls back down into the earth's warmth. Those listening relax, their shoulders lowering, their breathing slowing. The rhythm of voice becomes a place to rest, You can rest now. The earliest languages may have carried more melody than modern speech. Not a microfact to memorize, but a soft truth carried by time. Human voices once followed the rhythm of the world around them. The wind, the rain, the slow beat of footsteps on well-traveled paths. These natural patterns shaped the music of speech in ways we still feel today. It's okay to drift across warm plains, voices stretched into long vowels that floated across open distance. Across dense forests, tones became more focused, precise, resonant enough to travel between layers of leaves. Across coasts and islands, pitch rose and fell with the same gentle sway as the nearby ocean. Speech mirrored the earth, sound learned from silence. The night softens around it. Even now, the music of speech carries the memory of these ancient landscapes, a rolling rhythm in one language, echoes hills and valleys. A sharp, bright pulse echoes stone and wind. A warm, lilting tone echoes rivers flowing through fields of light. And beneath these echoes is a shared human truth. Every voice is shaped by place. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. There is another layer, one deeper than sound alone. The heartbeat, its steady, repeating rhythm, has always lived inside us, quiet but constant. When speech matches the heart's pace, calm spreads through the body. When tone aligns with breath, comfort rises naturally. The earliest storytellers may not have known this consciously, but their voices followed it. Slow, steady, like hands smoothing cloth at dusk. You can rest now. In some early communities, speech became almost song-like, not in performance, but in daily life. Voices carrying subtle melodies as people worked, called, gathered, and rested. A rising tone for joy, a descending tone for calm, a repeated pattern for reassurance. These weren't choices. They were instincts, rooted in how the body naturally moves air. It's okay to drift. A gentle fact from relaxing science. The human voice can produce hundreds of subtle pitch variations, but most languages use only a small handful to shape their melody. Too much variation overwhelms the mind. Too little dulls the rhythm. Somewhere in between lies the perfect balance. Steady enough to soothe, varied enough to hold attention, soft enough to fade into sleep. The night deepens its glow. Even silence has rhythm. Between every phrase, every breath, every heartbeat, there is a pause, a tiny moment where sound dissolves and the world listens. These pauses give speech its shape, its timing, its softness. Without them, words would blend into chaos. With them, speech becomes a gentle wave, carrying meaning through still water. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Imagine someone telling a story. Thousands of years ago, near a low-burning fire, their voice rises slightly, with each moment of curiosity, then falls. As comfort returns, the fire crackles, the wind hums, the listeners sway gently. With the rhythm of the speaker's breath, they understand the story, long before they understand the words. Music precedes meaning. You can rest now. Even today, certain patterns calm the mind. A slow rise, followed by a long fall. A soft beginning, carrying into a gentle end. A warm tone that holds steady as the sentence drifts downward. These shapes match natural rhythms in the body. The rise of breath, the fall of breath, the slow return to stillness. It's okay to drift. Every language has its own musical signature. Some pulse gently, like quiet drums, heard from a distance. Some shimmer with tiny tonal shifts, like sunlight moving across water. Some glide in long, smooth lines, like birds traveling on evening winds. All are beautiful, all carry meaning through music. Long before meaning is understood, the night softens around it. When someone whispers, the musicality grows even clearer. Whispers contain no pitch, yet they still follow rhythm, a faint pattern of air moving through stillness. In whispers, speech becomes pure breath, pure quiet, pure lullaby. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Consider a lullaby, sung 5,000 years ago. We don't know the words, we don't know the melody, but we know the rhythm. Slow, steady, descending, like a falling star. Every culture developed this same rhythm for soothing children. The structure of comfort is universal. You can rest now. Even in conversation, music flows. A soft rhythm appears. When two people speak kindly, one voice rises, the other responds. They match pace. They mirror tone. Neural patterns synchronize, even across distance. This is how connection forms, not from meaning, but from shared sound. It's okay to drift. Speech, in its deepest essence, is a duet between breath and the world. The body shapes air. The air shapes sound. The world shapes how sound travels. Meaning simply rides on the surface of this current. The true foundation, the thing that never changes, is rhythm. Somewhere, light continues to travel. As speech evolves into full languages, the musicality becomes more refined. It does not disappear. It becomes quieter, woven into the background, like a soft hum you only notice when the night is very still. Even modern speech carries faint melodies. In each pattern of rise and fall, each pause, each whispered moment between breaths, you breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. If meaning is the mind of language, then music is its heartbeat, a constant, steady presence, guiding the listener toward comfort, toward calm, toward understanding. It's okay to drift. And now, as the story deepens, language prepares to shift again, from sound to symbol, from breath to marks on clay, from the fleeting to the enduring. Writing waits on the horizon, a quiet dawn rising over the long landscape of human expression. The night carries us onward, slow and warm, into the next chapter, the gentle miracle of turning sound into something the hands can hold. It rises like a faint glow on the horizon, a change so gradual, so delicate, that the world did not notice until centuries had passed. For tens of thousands of years, language lived only in breath, sound, vibration, moment. Then, slowly, like dawn lifting over ancient hills, writing appeared, a quiet miracle, a way to hold time still. It's okay to drift. No one invented writing in a single day. It emerged the way a river forms, droplet by droplet, gesture by gesture, mark by careful mark. Over generations, early humans pressed lines into clay and stone, not to create a system, but to record small memories, grain stored, seasons counted, promises kept beneath wide skies. These first marks were simple, but they carried weight. The night folds itself gently around these beginnings. Picture the earliest clay tablets, tiny, warm from the hands that shaped them, pressed with soft impressions that held meaning without yet being words. A circle might mark the moon. A cross might mark the meeting of paths. A cluster of small lines might stand for a harvest. Form emerged slowly, guided not by rules, but by the quiet desire to remember. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Writing is patience made visible. Breath becomes symbol. Symbol becomes memory. Memory becomes history. This transformation did not happen quickly. It took thousands of years for early marks to develop into full scripts that could hold speech itself. Each sign, each stroke, each curved line carried the echo of countless hands, practicing the same shapes over and over. You can rest now in river valleys where civilizations bloomed. Writing grew like vines, climbing upward through need and curiosity. Sumerians pressed cuneiform wedges into damp clay. Egyptians painted soft curves that became hieroglyphs, glowing in gold and shadow. Across mountains, Chinese scribes carved slow, steady strokes that echoed rain on stone. These scripts formed not as inventions, but as reflections of each culture's breath, gesture, and rhythm. It's okay to drift. Every early script carried a sense of its landscape. Clay tablets dried under warm sun, Ink flowed like water along slender reeds. Brushes swept as gently as wind through bamboo forests. Chisels tapped with the steady patience of stone settling over time. Writing was a collaboration between humans and the earth that held them. The night softens around it. Imagine a scribe thousands of years ago, sitting by lamplight. They dip a reed in soot-dark ink, hold their breath, and draw a single line. The line curves, then settles. A word appears, or perhaps not a word, perhaps a meaning, or a memory, or a name whispered across generations. To write was to slow the world long enough to hold a thought in both hands. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Writing changed language forever, not by replacing its softness, but by giving it a place to rest. Spoken words vanished the moment breath ended. Written words lingered, like footprints preserved in dry earth. For the first time, a message could outlive its speaker. A name could survive long after the voice that spoke it had faded into dust. You can rest now. Even the simplest scripts preserved fragments of daily life. The weight of grain, the gift of an animal, the promise of a journey, the warmth of a family name. These small details became anchors of time. Through them, future generations could feel the heartbeat of the past. Somewhere, light continues to travel. As writing grew more refined, it began to capture sound itself. Symbols shifted from representing objects to representing syllables, then phonemes, the smallest pieces of speech. This slow refinement brought writing closer to breath, closer to the music of voice. Scripts blossomed into elegant systems capable of holding entire languages within repeating strokes. It's okay to drift. Consider an early alphabet. Each letter carries 1,000 years of memory. A curved line that once represented an ox, a straight stroke that once meant a house, a folded shape that once represented water, curling around stone. Over time, these pictures softened into symbols. Symbols became letters. Letters became language, captured on surfaces that outlasted empires. The night deepens around it. Writing was not only for record keeping, it became a canvas for feeling. Scribes wrote prayers that hovered in temple air. Poets carved verses into raw stone. Lovers etched small messages into pottery that still survives. Under layers of earth, emotion gained permanence. Fear, hope, tenderness, all found quiet refuge in lines shaped by steady hands. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. The spread of writing was slow, gentle, and uneven. Some regions developed it early, others much later, and some lived entirely in the world of oral tradition for thousands of years. Yet even without writing, These cultures carried rich stories in memory, in ritual, in the music of voice. Writing never replaced speech. It simply offered a second home for language to rest. You can rest now. Imagine a quiet room in an ancient city. A teacher draws symbols in wet clay, guiding a student's hand. The student breathes deeply, steadying their fingers as they learn the delicate curve of a new sign. Each attempt is a conversation between hand and meaning, between breath and mark, between present and future. Somewhere, light continues to travel over centuries. Scripts developed personalities. Some flowed like rivers, Arabic sweeping across the page in long, graceful arcs. Some stood firm like pillars, Latin letters crisp and grounded. Some shimmered with fragile beauty, the brushstrokes of East Asia moving like whispered winds across silk and paper. Each script became a voice of its own. It's okay to drift. Writing also brought silence into language, a silent symbol, a quiet pause, a line break that lets the eye rest, the way a breath allows the heart to settle. This new silence added depth to human expression. Even absence became meaningful. The night softens around it, and through this patient evolution, writing began to preserve entire worlds, myths, histories, dreams, prayers, maps of stars drawn by those who watch the sky with hope and wonder. Language became a bridge from one millennium to the next. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Even now, modern writing carries ancient echoes. Every letter you read is the descendant of a sign shaped by hands long gone. The slope of a curve, the angle of a line, the spacing of a word, all of it remembers the quiet patience of early scribes who wrote by firelight. You can rest now. Writing is human memory turned into form, a way of letting thoughts drift across time without losing their warmth, a way of letting someone hundreds or thousands of years away feel the soft weight of a moment as you felt it. Somewhere, light continues to travel, and as the night deepens, writing carries us to the next part of language's long journey, a journey where words themselves begin to drift, changing shape as they cross mountains, rivers, cultures, and centuries. The quiet tide continues, and we drift with it, steady and warm, as language prepares for its next gentle transformation. It drifts the way continents do, slowly, quietly, with shifts so soft that no single lifetime notices. Language begins to move, not through force, not through intention, but through the natural tide of human breath. Generations pass, voices rise and fade, And with each new morning, words settle into slightly different shapes. It's okay to drift. A word spoken today may sound almost identical to the way it was spoken a century ago, but stretch the view across 5 centuries or 10, and the shift becomes visible. A soft rounding of a vowel, a consonant relaxing its edge, a rhythm slowing to match the calmer breath of a different age. The night folds gently around this slow transformation. In quiet villages, surrounded by mountains, language changes at the pace of stone, stable, steady, grounded in generations who speak in familiar patterns. But in wide river valleys, where traders drift from one community to the next, language flows faster, picking up new tones, new endings, new warmth. The world shapes speech, and speech remembers the world. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Imagine an ancient settlement, a cluster of reed roof homes beside a shimmering lake. Children play near the shore, their voices rising and falling in the cadence shared by their parents, their grandparents, and those who came long before. Then a traveler arrives from far away, carrying new sounds, carved by wind and distance. He speaks slowly, carefully, his tone unfamiliar, yet beautiful. The children echo the new sound, softly at first, then with growing delight. A single ripple has entered the lake. You can rest now. This is how languages drift, through small moments, small imitations, small curiosities that move quietly from one voice to another. Over time, the ripple widens, the lake changes shape, a new variant begins to bloom. Not separate, not sudden, just softened, shaped by hundreds of hands and thousands of breaths carried across early mornings and long, calm nights. It's okay to drift. Sometimes a change begins with a single sound. A vowel opens slightly wider to make space for breath. A consonant eases its tension to flow more smoothly from one syllable to the next. Generations adopt these changes without noticing, the way trees adapt to wind, slowly bending, never breaking. The night softens around it. In island cultures, where waves whisper constantly, words slowly absorb the ocean's rhythm. A rising pitch matches the lift of tides. A gentle fall matches the return to shore. These tonal patterns become the signature of entire language families over thousands of years. Elsewhere, in lands shaped by rivers that carve long, quiet paths, syllables become elongated, stretching like water, gliding over stone. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. A calm truth glows here. Language drifts fastest, where people move most. Caravans crossing dry plains, boats traveling between islands, nomadic families following gentle seasons. Movement carries sound, the way wind carries seeds. Some land softly and flourish. Some merge with existing forms. Some fade, but leave faint echoes that remain for centuries. You can rest now. In times of stillness, language preserves older forms, the way deep lakes preserve colder water beneath their surface. A quiet village, tucked between hills, may carry speech patterns that remained unchanged for hundreds of years. Such places become living time capsules, holding the gentle shapes of ancient tongues. Long after neighboring regions have drifted into new sounds, somewhere, light continues to travel. In bustling crossroads, where voices mingle constantly, new variations bloom. In each generation, children grow up, hearing multiple rhythms, multiple tones, and their speech becomes a soft fusion, a new melody, formed from the blending of many. These blended forms eventually settle into patterns, and patterns become the next stage of language. It's okay to drift. Even now, in the modern world, languages continue to change. With the same quiet patience, new words appear, old words shift, pronunciations soften, lengthen, simplify, not because anyone chooses to, but because the human voice moves naturally toward ease. Language always seeks comfort. It always seeks breath. The night deepens around it, and through this long, gentle drift, the heart of each language remains intact. Its core meanings, its emotional architecture, its quiet truths, carried across thousands of years. Drift does not erase. It reshapes, it softens, it carries the past into the present, like a small ember, glowing in cupped hands. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. From here, the drift will continue into the second half of this part, where the evolution of words becomes even softer, even slower, a quiet dance between time, place, and the breath of those who speak them across centuries. It continues its quiet wandering, as if language itself were a long, soft tide moving through the centuries. The drift becomes gentler here, almost imperceptible, like shadows adjusting. As the moon climbs slowly overhead, sounds shift in ways too delicate for a single life to notice, yet profound enough to reshape entire families of speech over the course of 1,000 years. It's okay to drift. A single word may begin its life sharp and bright, born in a place where stone, wind, and alertness shaped every breath. Then, through generations, the word softens, its edges blur, a consonant falls away, like a pebble releasing from a cliff. A vowel opens to welcome more air. By the time 10 or 20 centuries pass, the new form feels natural, a calm descendant of a sound once spoken beneath a very different sky. The night leans quietly around it. Sometimes, drift follows human emotion. A word used often in tenderness grows rounder, lighter, warmer. A word born in urgency may shorten, tighten, become easier to shout across long distances. Human feeling quietly shapes human sound, and sound responds with the patience of an old river, shifting its path, grain by grain. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. In some regions, language drifts in waves, a large change followed by stillness, like long tides, moving over pale sand. In others, transformation arrives in tiny pulses, barely noticeable, but constant, like dust settling in slow spirals through golden light. No two places drift the same way. Each landscape, each rhythm of life, carves its own path for sound. You can rest now. Consider a quiet coastal village, thousands of years ago, where gulls circle slowly and nets dry beneath the sun. Children grow up, hearing the sea's cadence, woven into the voices around them. Words stretch to match the long breath required to call across water. Syllables fall gently, like foam settling into shore. These patterns survive long after the village itself has vanished into time. Somewhere, light continues to travel. Far inland, in the shadow of mountains, another community shapes its words more tightly, keeping breath close. In thin, cool air, their consonants grow firm, steady, like the stones surrounding them. Their vowels become small lanterns, carried carefully through valleys of silence. Over centuries, their speech develops a rhythm as patient as snowfall. It's okay to drift. Drift also follows migration. When a group journeys across many seasons, their language shifts with every new horizon. A borrowed word here, a softened sound there, a change in rhythm as children grow in new landscapes that carry different winds. By the time the group settles, their speech carries stories from every place they passed, a quiet map drawn in sound. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Even peace shapes language. In calm periods, with long nights of quiet conversation, speech grows slower, smoother, as if leaning back into comfort. The drift becomes melodic. Words lengthen, phrases flow. Centuries of rest create languages that feel like deep water, still on the surface, full of movement below. You can rest now. And when life grows busy, markets expanding, villages bustling, pathways filling with people, language adjusts again, syllables shorten, patterns quicken. Drift follows rhythm, matching the pace of footsteps, the hum of daily work, the heartbeat of shared spaces. Yet even then, beneath the motion, softness remains. All languages carry at least one quiet place to rest. The night softens around it. Some languages drift together before drifting apart again. Two groups share close speech for centuries, only to diverge when distances grow or migrations separate them. But even after long separation, small echoes remain. A shared vowel, a familiar cadence, a faint trace of an old rhythm, preserved like a fossil in the flow of modern sound. It's okay to drift. Others drift towards simplicity. A cluster of consonants dissolves into a smoother pattern. A complex ending falls away like sand on a slow, warm wind. Language moves toward ease, toward effortlessness, toward breath that can be spoken without thought. People do not guide this change. The change guides itself. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. In some regions, drift grows poetic, words developing new shades, new associations, new emotional color. As cultures deepen, their expressions of art, love, memory, and time. These shifts unfold like petals opening under gentle morning light. No rush, no noise, only growth. You can rest now. Through all of this, one quiet truth remains. Language never stops moving, like a river that reshapes its banks through countless seasons. Speech changes, even when no one notices. Its motion is soft, but its direction is steady, toward clarity, toward comfort, toward keeping meaning alive. As generations come and go, somewhere, light continues to travel. And as this drift continues, it leads naturally toward the next chapter. A chapter where language steps into deeper silence, where pauses and quiet spaces carry meaning as rich as any spoken word. The night guides us gently there, slow and warm, as the story prepares to enter its softest realm yet. It arrives the way twilight arrives, not suddenly, not with edges, but with a soft dimming of everything familiar. Silence moves into the space between sounds, settling like fine dust over a room untouched for years. In this quiet, language reveals its forgotten half. Not the words, not the rhythms, but the open spaces that hold them together. It's okay to drift. Silence has always been part of human expression. Before the first sound, before the first shared breath, there was quiet, vast, patient, older than any language, born from it. Even now, every sentence rests on a foundation of stillness. Every phrase rises from the gentle pool of space before it. The night folds itself around this truth. A calm fact from relaxing science. The brain softens in moments of quiet. It slows its pace. It lowers its walls. It begins to wander, the way clouds wander across long evening skies. Silence becomes a kind of refuge, a place language returns to when it needs to breathe. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. For early humans, Silence carried meaning long before speech did. A pause could signal safety. Stillness could signal attention. A gentle hush could mean the world was listening. People learned to move carefully through the quiet, letting it guide their choices as surely as any sound. In forests where shadows waited, silence warned. In meadows where fireflies drifted, silence soothed. You can rest now. Imagine a small gathering around a dim fire, tens of thousands of years ago. Conversation flows slowly, with wide spaces between voices. In those spaces, the crackle of wood becomes part of the meaning. The long pause after a story becomes the story's final note. A deep silence lets the night speak, and the people listening can hear everything they need to hear. It's okay to drift. Silence also shapes rhythm. A pause after a word gives that word weight. A breath before a phrase gives it softness. Without silence, language would collapse into a single unbroken sound, a river rushing without rest. With silence, it becomes tide, pulse, a rise and fall that guides the listener gently forward. The night settles deeper. Across early civilizations, silence held sacred meaning. In temples, priests paused between lines to let the air absorb their prayers. In mountainside shrines, monks sat in long stillness as wind moved through stone corridors. In desert camps, travelers watched stars in quiet companionship, sharing more through silence than words could carry. Silence was not emptiness. It was presence. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Even writing carried silence within it. Spaces between symbols, margins untouched, a line break that lets the eyes rest before moving on. Script carved into stone held the quiet of the carver's breath. Ink brushed on parchment held the stillness between strokes. Language gained depth, not through complexity, but through the gentle restraint of silence. You can rest now. The drift of language slows here, as if honoring the quiet. Sounds that once required force grow softer, lighter. Endings fade, like footprints in sand. Beginnings become slower, as though the breath is taking its time to reveal itself. Silence begins to braid with language, each shaping the other in long, delicate lines across centuries. Somewhere, light continues to travel. In distant regions, silence becomes a language of its own. In northern lands, where snow absorbs sound, people speak gently, letting pauses linger as naturally as falling flakes. In deep forests, hunters communicate through glances and stillness, letting silence carry their intent. In wide grasslands, where wind never stops moving, silence becomes the backdrop to every shared moment. The steady hum beneath all speech, it's okay to drift. Silence comforts because it asks nothing. Words require shaping. Thought requires focus. But silence simply is. It holds space. For whatever the heart carries, it allows the mind to settle into its own pace. The way sand settles at the bottom of a slow river. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Even in modern life, the quiet moments are where meaning deepens. A pause after a confession, a shared silence between friends, walking side by side, the soft stillness just before sleep, when the room dims and thought drifts away from edges and effort. These moments carry more than speech. They carry the warmth of simply being. You can rest now. And so, language belongs, not just to sound, but to stillness. It rises from silence. It returns to silence. And in between, it dances, gently, patiently, like a lantern swaying in a quiet night breeze. Language is half expression, half breath, half quiet, a soft equilibrium shaped across centuries. The night softens around it. From here, the story of language drifts toward its quietest realm, where silence becomes not only a pause, but a form of connection, a kind of presence that holds more comfort than any spoken word. It leads us gently into the final descent, where language, sound, and silence become one slow movement toward rest. It deepens now, the way water deepens when night finally settles across its surface. Silence grows wider, more spacious, as if the world itself were drawing a long breath and holding it in gentle stillness. This is the silence that shaped the oldest parts of language, a silence not of emptiness, but of listening. It's okay to drift. For as long as humans have spoken, they have also paused. They have looked into flames, or out across plains, or up toward stars that shimmered softly above early Earth. In those pauses, thought gathered, meaning ripened, understanding unfolded, the way petals open in slow morning light. Silence was the cradle in which language learned to rest. You are safe here, warm and slow. There is a gentle truth that moves quietly through relaxing science. Silence activates the same rhythms in the brain that appear just before sleep. Electrical tides soften their movement. Patterns lower themselves into calm waves. The body drifts into a deeper kind of breathing, a breathing that remembers the earliest nights when humans huddled together in shared quiet. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Picture an ancient shelter, lit only by embers. Shadows move faintly on stone walls. Two people speak, their voices low, but it is the silence between their words that carries the warmth of the moment. A pause after gratitude, a pause before comfort, A pause as one hand rests gently on another. In this stillness, language is not a structure. It is a presence. You drift slowly, safe and low. Across thousands of years, silence became ritual, a moment of quiet before a journey began, a moment of stillness after a loved one's name was spoken, a moment of shared breath beneath ancient trees whose branches held the stories of generations. People learned that silence was not something to move through quickly, but something to stay inside for a little while longer. The night folds gently around it. Even today, cultures around the world use silence as language. Monks sit in meditation halls where only wind moves through old wooden beams. Sailors pause before speaking of storms. Elders in quiet villages let silence settle before offering advice, allowing the air to soften what needs to be said. Silence becomes a companion, a guide, a kind of soft teacher. It's okay to drift. Some silences hold memory, a quiet field where ancestors once walked, a dim room where generations told stories by firelight, a forest path where only footfall and breath were ever heard. These places carry a hush that feels older than language itself. And when a person speaks there, their voice changes, lower, slower, as if honoring the stillness it enters. You are safe here and warm. Silence also shapes the emotional weight of words. A soft pause before a confession gives that confession a gentler landing, a moment of quiet after gratitude lets the feeling expand, like warm air rising. Even in simple conversation, the gaps between phrases serve as quiet bridges, allowing meaning to drift from one heart to another. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Consider the quiet of a winter morning, thousands of years ago. Snow covers everything: trees, pathways, the roofs of small shelters. A person steps outside, their breath forming clouds that rise and dissolve. In that moment, their voice, if they speak at all, emerges gently so as not to disturb the perfection of the hush. Silence is the world's first language. You drift lower, soft and slow. In warm deserts, silence fills the spaces between dunes. Travelers rest beneath the stars, letting quiet settle over their tired bodies. Their stories grow slow and rhythmic, punctuated by long pauses that hold more meaning than any words they share. Silence here is not absence. It is environment, the vast canvas upon which language paints itself. It's okay to drift. As centuries continued, silence became integral to human expression. Poets left empty space between lines to let readers breathe. Storytellers paused before revealing truth, letting anticipation soften the moment. Even lullabies had rests, small openings where breath could settle, where sleep could find its way. Closer to the listener, you are safe here, low and still. In modern speech, silence remains the most powerful element. Few notice the quiet between sentences lets thoughts settle. The soft gap after a whispered word invites calm. Even technology, with all its noise, cannot erase the ancient instinct to rest inside moments where nothing is said. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Silence does not compete with language. It completes it. It gives shape to the spoken world, the way shadows give depth to light. It allows emotion to rise gently, then fall back into stillness. Language begins in silence, and it returns to silence again and again, like tides touching the shore. You drift softly, low and warm, and as the night deepens, this quiet grows wider within the story. The journey moves now toward the final curve, where language begins to look forward toward the future, toward new voices, toward the slow unfolding of expression across centuries yet to come. The hush carries us into that next realm, steady and gentle, as if the world itself were lowering its breath to match yours.